And because of the web, DARPA connects into Google, Facebook, Amazon, all these organizations, and they're pushing this agenda forward as one unit while appearing to be unconnected. All-seeing eye, Google working with Pentagon on using AI for drone improvement. About 3,000 Google employees have actually started a campaign to stop Google being involved in this drone technology. So you see Facebook, it's just a social media, or Google, just a search engine, when actually they are fronts for DARPA and the intelligence community in America to drive this agenda forward. So Larry Page and Sergey Brin own Google via the parent company Alphabet, but who owns them? Zuckerberg runs Facebook, we're told, but who runs him? And the idea that this guy runs Facebook, and you see him this week, he's like a little boy in short trousers. It's unbelievable. The idea he runs it is ridiculous. So who does? Well, let's give us a clue. How about the National Security Agency in America? How about the fact that the CIA has a company, an investment company called Icke, which funds technology to advance the agenda I'm talking about, the AI agenda, that it seed funded the technology on which Google eventually emerged with. It seed funded Facebook and all these things. And we're supposed to think they happen just out of nowhere, just geeks in a garage or geeks at Harvard University. Why would DARPA, that makes death rays and genetic extinction technology, fund into existence, as it did, Siri and this office assistant, personal assistant technology? They sit around the table one day with their killing machines thinking, wouldn't it be nice if people had a little thing on their table? There's a reason for it, and here's the personification of what I'm talking about. Regina Duggan started out as director of DARPA. She then made an astonishing career move and became an executive of Google. Then she moved from Google to Facebook. In all of those positions, she was working on the same thing as she did at Facebook, developing technologies that fluently blend physical and digital worlds. AI taking over the human mind. And there's another guy, Google executive, it's just a search engine. Google executive called Ray Kurzweil. He's the PR man, the sales pitcher for Frankenstein. And he's the one that comes out openly because his sales pitch is that it's a wonderful thing. I'll come to that. And he talks about something he calls the cloud and how humans are going to be attached to the cloud, AI. And this is what he says. And he claims at 80% accuracy in previous predictions. Ray Kurzweil says that humans will have hybrid cloud-powered brains by 2030, and I speak in 2018. He says our thinking will be a hybrid of biological and non-biological thinking. Humans will be able to extend their limitations and think in the cloud. We're going to put gateways to the cloud in our brains. We're going to gradually merge and enhance ourselves. In my view, that's the nature of being human. We transcend our limitations. There's the sales pitch. He goes on. As the technology becomes vastly superior to what we are, then the small proportion that is still human gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it's just utterly negligible. The assimilation. No more human mind replaced by AI mind. And so, up to this point, to control perception, they've had to control information, which then becomes perception. This AI takeover is about AI becoming the perception. No information control needed because you will think what AI thinks because you will be AI. With robots in our brains, he said, we'll be superhuman, godlike. That's the sales pitch, and that's why he's talking openly about it. But it is bullshit. It's not about making us superhuman, it's about making us subhuman. That's what this is all about. And then we have what I call Elon Two Mouths. Elon Musk, this big billionaire technology financier and corporate man. He says AI could be the end of humanity, right? But we must merge with it to save ourselves. Talk about look this way, the truth that way. He said this week, we will all be forced to serve under an immortal robot dictator whose power we can never escape, warns billionaire Elon Musk. All of which is true. But why does he open a company to merge brains with computers in a matrix-style technology? Talk about a forked tongue. The idea is to turn the human mind into little more than a computer terminal on this AI internet, this cloud, as Kurzweil calls it, and basically create a human hive mind controlled by AI. Now, this is a DARPA insider who actually, a guy called Dr. Robert Duncan, who made a presentation in which he's talking about this. He's not putting it in its true context, of course, but he's talking about the coming hive mind control grid, which is exactly what they want. Now, watch the outcome and you'll see the journey. The outcome they want is the merging of the human mind with artificial intelligence, basically based on the internet, brackets cloud. Now, in 1969, Dr. Richard Day described to those doctors, because what happened is, there was one of the doctors, one of the pediatricians, his name was Lawrence Dunningham. He did take notes, and some years later, he did a series of interviews with an alternative internet site before he died in 2004. And he did the interviews because even by then, he was seeing that what Day had said was going to happen to the world was happening. And what Day described in 1969 was what today we call the internet, which is what is supposed to have been, in terms of the World Wide Web, invented in 1989. And who claims credit for creating the internet? DARPA. And if DARPA created it, there's a real unpleasant ulterior motive for humanity every time. And this then went to another stage, this internet, when a guy called David Petraeus, a CIA chief for a short time, made a speech revealing that they were going to create what they call the Internet of Things. It's already happening now. The Internet of Things is having all devices, cars, heating, fridges, everything connected to the internet. So whoever controls the internet controls everything that is connected to it. But there's another level to that, and that's called the Internet of Everything, and that's where you have all these devices connected to the internet, but also the human mind. And that is where this is going. This is Kurzweil's cloud. And what they want to do is, as I said earlier about us being awareness and the five senses point of attention, disconnecting us from that, they want to disconnect us from that through technology. So that the lower level of the mind, the five sense level of the mind, if you like, is connected to AI, and there is no out there anymore, only AI. That's the idea, technological collective mind, disconnecting us from our more expanded consciousness. And this cloud is designed to be a massive Wi-Fi bubble around the world which no one can escape from, and through technology everyone will be connected to. That's not saying this is going to happen, that depends on us. If we do nothing, it's going to happen. And to create this cloud everywhere, you have to beam Wi-Fi from the sky, from space, and that's exactly what they're doing through DARPA, Google, Facebook, and Elon Musk, who through his organization called SpaceX has got permission from the US government to put thousands of satellites in orbit, beaming Wi-Fi back at the planet so there's not an inch that is not covered. This is why increasingly Wi-Fi is everywhere. You can't get away from it. And when it's all these satellites are in place, that's the idea. This is what smart meters are all about. This is the Wi-Fi cloud in every business and every home. And another name for the cloud is the smart grid. That's why everything these days has smart in front of it. Because all this smart technology is designed to communicate with all the other smart technology to create this, this grid as part of the smart everything internet of everything. And the documents that they have, which talk about the way they're going to funnel people into urban areas and out of the countryside and the rural areas, they call these settlements human settlement zones. These human settlement zones have another name, smart cities, and they are designed to be completely controlled by AI and be structured so that people can be under surveillance 24 hours a day because of the way they're structured and because of AI. And in 2010, globally, we passed the point where more people lived in cities and urban areas than in the countryside, and it's gone on flying up ever since. Google to build world's first digital utopia with parks and sky and AI weather. Saudi Arabia plans to build $500 billion high-tech mega city, 33 times bigger than New York. This is all the AI-controlled mega cities that I've been talking about for years and years and years. And to make this work, to have the communication power in this Wi-Fi and this other communication radiation network, they need it to be at least the level of 5G, which is why they're bringing in 5G without any debate and without any testing, because if they tested it, then people wouldn't have it. And 5G is not just a little bit forward from 4G, it is on another stratosphere from 4G. Ultra powerful, ultra intense microwave technology. 5G cellular technology will blanket planetary life with ultra high microwave frequencies. They've started now introducing, announced what the test areas are going to be in this country, though there are places being tested that they're not telling you about. They're being rolled out in America. And it is catastrophic, and we need to understand it, because its effect on the human body, the human mind, and human emotions will be catastrophic. Now, I was talking about this in Sheffield last week, or earlier this week, and then I picked up the paper, mainstream paper, the next morning, and here's the headline. The town facing a humanitarian crisis caused by the radiation from state-of-the-art street lamps. Residents have endured insomnia, nosebleeds, and even stillbirth, scientists claims. They've been rolling out in Gateshead street lamps giving out 5G. Won't tell anybody. And they're already getting the consequences in health and other ways of 5G. This is what we're looking at. And why? Because the body is part of an electromagnetic field of information that we call the auric field, some people call it. And the brain communicates, processes information, and communicates with the rest of the body electrically. And DNA is a receiver-transmitter of information. And if you introduce high-powered, distorting frequencies, incompatible frequencies, into the brain, into the electromagnetic field, or into DNA, then it totally scrambles all of them. That's why people that live near these big towers they have now, of lesser power than 5G, have problems with depression, have problems with mental situations, health situations, and they found that it also does tremendous damage to DNA. This is why. And 5G is a massive, massive, massive upgrade on what we've had so far. And these 5G frequencies in a higher power are what the American military use to disperse crowds because they make people feel their skin is burning. This is what we're dealing with. Now this 5G, because it's completely different to what we've had so far, doesn't travel well, it doesn't travel far, and it doesn't travel through what we perceive to be solid objects very well, dense energetic objects in truth. And therefore, as this picture shows, to have 5G, you're going to have these small antennae close together all over the place. Outside people's homes, this is what's caused the problem in Gateshead to a large extent. Outside children's windows, bedroom windows, children much more susceptible to it because their skulls are thinner, and it's going to be powering out this stuff. And I was in Sheffield, like I say, speaking earlier this week, and you may have seen in the papers, Sheffield Council are cutting down trees on an extraordinary level. They've done 6,000 so far, and documents came to light that they want to do another 17,000 of mature trees. Now, I'm not saying this is why, but I will tell you this. Mature trees in urban streets are 5G's worst nightmare. And if they start doing this in other cities, and not just Sheffield, then the alarm bell should ring very, very loudly. So 5G, behind the bullshit, this is the game. A world deluged with ultra-high frequency microwave radiation from which there would be no escape created this control grid I'm talking about. And the reason that the Wi-Fi corporations of 5G are getting what they want without testing, and it's being pushed by the Federal Communications Commission, the agency responsible for that in America, and by the UK government, is because the web is making it happen. That's why it's not being discussed. So coming on from that, but totally connected, number 7, addiction dependency. You've got to get people on the totalitarian tiptoe to where you want with this AI takeover. So, addiction dependence.